Hey everybody, how's it going? John and other John here with our very special guest, Adam from Games Ahoy in Colorado. Adam, thank you so much for coming on, dude. We definitely appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
So Adam also owns some video game stores, which is kind of crazy. It's like hard to find somebody else that does. So we have a special connection, him and I. Adam has 3 stores in Colorado. He's got 2 in Loveland and 1 in Fort Collins. He also provides video games, retro video games, collectibles, merch, and TCG stuff, and probably more than you expect. So if you haven't been
similar to your store, I would say.
Yeah, we like the same stuff.
Yeah.
We like cool stuff.
Yeah, cool stuff that you like, that you think is cool too.
That's the thing. Is like what I realized about and we'll talk about it just a little bit. But I think what I realized about the store a while ago is it's just like our taste and stuff. Like the entire store and its success or the sales are just based on like our intuition on what is cool.
Yeah, and sometimes I'll specifically exclude things from our inventory just because I personally don't care for it.
True.
So that's true.
True. Try to like avoid a certain market of people. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't go that far.
He's like, we don't carry the My Little Pony game ever again. He's like, they kept pooping on the floor.
Oh, we've had that.
I've actually had one person poop on the floor.
Yeah, we've had a kid where it's coming out the bottom of the pant leg.
Aw.
And we're like, hey, Dad, come over here. Clean up your son. And he acts like we're not talking to him. And
Oh, he
That's
just
happened.
walks out. Let's go.
Yeah.
Ours was not a kid. It was a transient man.
Okay, grown
adult hobo-ish type. I think is how somebody would describe.
Is the political term for
He
it.
was just like in there like playing the arcade machine, and then they called me afterwards and they're like, yeah, dude, and they sent the video and he's playing the arcade machine. And you just see like tumble 2 little just like turd balls like come out and he's
No
like
way.
and then he just leaves and they're like, wait a minute, and they notice, they're like, oh, so yeah, that's a wild one. Cleaning up feces.
Yeah, that's wild.
I was going to say the last one we had was from a dog, too.
A dog.
Freaking dogs. I'm sorry.
You let dogs in the store?
No.
No.
No,
Oh,
we do
okay.
not. But it's still...
Forced
the
its
last
way.
one I got was hilarious because this lady walks in and she's like... I was giving her kind of the death stare, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because she walks in with this giant dog. And I'm just like, is that a service dog? It doesn't look like one. She's like, it's a service dog. I'm like,
Sure.
really? And she's like, it's a service dog in training.
In training. They're always in training. Every
No, we've
single
actually
time.
had that before too.
So what? Okay, this is an interesting.
Show me the
one.
receipts.
This is exactly. Well, I realize there's 2 questions. Is it a service dog? You're allowed to ask that. That's
Yeah.
one. The only other question you're allowed to ask is, what service is it trained to perform?
Oh, I didn't know that
Really?
one.
And that's the only other question you're like legally allowed to ask. But because the difference between an emotional
many
support
laws.
an emotional support weapon,
See that.
old Betsy,
You should make an emotional support weapon and put it on your shelf.
dude, just a holster that just says emotional support weapon.
Yeah, that's something you could sell.
That's pretty good. But anyhow, whatever, dogs. But yeah, owning stores in Colorado. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. So, I mean, I think you and I got started in similar ways where I think we were both... So you're from Arkansas, right, originally?
Yep, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas.
Okay, cool. And so I think we both just, like, got started just collecting and then, like, buying and selling here and there? Or, like, what's your origin story? Like, what's your Batman origin story?
Yeah, mine's a little bit interesting, I think. I think I was in the right place at the right time. This would have been 2009. I would say that around this time on YouTube, a lot of collectors were showing off their collections. You had people filming themselves going around and picking up rare games with, at good deals.
Yeah.
At local stores. It was kind of starting to blow up, on YouTube. and online in general. And a lot of the store owners at the time just weren't really keeping up with that. And honestly, now that I'm an owner, and have been for, what is it now, 11 years, I can see why. It's very difficult to, keep track of every single, price increase on every game or even every console. It's just difficult to keep up with the times, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time in 2009, I remember my twin brother would actually buy these lots of like Blu-ray cases.
Right.
And back then, Blu-ray cases were highly sought after for some reason.
Okay.
And he would buy big lots and then he would sell them all individually and make like double the money that he spent. And I just saw that and I was like, that's so weird. Why are you doing that? And, it was a little bit foreign to me. I didn't sell on eBay at all.
Right.
And I loved video games. And I had a local game store. And I went in there and I just noticed that they had Paper Mario for $10. And, hey, I just saw that on eBay for $20. And there's Pokemon Gold and Silver for $6. Buy 3, get 1 free.
You're going to make me throw up.
Oh, I saw these on eBay for $15 to $18 a piece. I was like, well, this is an easy turnaround. I
Easy
could do what my
pickings.
brother's doing.
Yeah.
I can just flip some games online real quick. And they sold like immediately. And so I just kept doing it for a little while. And then I noticed like I had other sellers, like resellers, buying from me in like big swaths. And I was like, something's going on here. They must be reselling it somewhere else.
Right.
And so I checked Amazon.
Ugh.
And on Amazon, or especially around the holidays, people pay a lot more money for these popular video games than they do on eBay.
Because they're like, I don't want to set up a PayPal.
Yeah. So, I mean, a game that would sell on eBay.
That's my Amazon person voice.
Yeah. Amazon.
Amazonian.
Yeah. A lot of shoppers on Amazon, they don't trust eBay. They trust Amazon. They shouldn't. You should not trust Amazon.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know why you do if you have been ordering them from a while.
It's because they have a good return policy.
eBay has a similar return policy.
They do. Yeah,
But-
the UI just isn't as like friendly, I think.
Amazon's definitely got a more friendly UI for customers. Anyway, I looked on Amazon like Pokemon Gold and Silver. They're selling on Amazon for $30, and on eBay, these resellers are buying them from me on eBay for the a competitive price on eBay at the time was like 17, 18, and they would just buy it. That's 18 shipped, and then they would just flip it real quick and make a
Right.
quick buck. And it was Pokemon stuff. Sometimes that stuff would go up to $35 at the time on Amazon at Christmas time. And so then I switched to Amazon.
Right.
And as soon as I started selling on Amazon, well, now every single game that I would buy locally, I would just triple or quadruple,
Yeah. It's
the
crazy how
return.
like the convenience in certain marketplaces just demand more. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just I don't know.
Yeah, and so I know some people. I'm aware that some people hate resellers, but every store owner has to be a reseller. Like we are a reseller for. Like if you want a local game store, that local game store's owner and everyone working there, they are resellers. And I know that some people look at it a little
Everybody's
differently.
a reseller. That
Yeah, I
whole
think-
notion is just insane to me. It's just
Yeah.
the people who miss out that don't like resellers. It seems.
That's definitely some of it. I understand the argument that if there are a lot of resellers buying up the supply, then the people who are there to buy those games because they just want to play them or collect them, they now can't buy them. They have to buy them from the reseller, and so like it creates an artificial demand. And then the people who bought swaths of games, they funnel that output of those games back into the market so that it never the prices don't go back down. Does that make sense?
I agree. I think the difference, I don't know, I guess the way that I look at it is a little bit different in that it's like the people who get upset about resellers
Yeah.
get mad when somebody finds a deal at a garage sale of games that they didn't know were going to be there, but they wanted those games, right? So it's like, specifically, do they want one of those games out of the whole stack, or did they want the entire lot? And then
Yeah.
did they equally want all of those games as much as one another? And does their wanting them or not having them for their collection to be a completionist, like, is that more valuable than the person who's going to put it into a marketplace where a person who wants that specific game is going to buy that specific game off the marketplace? Because the people buying in swaths are just loading it to eBay or Amazon or selling it to a game store where the person in the market for that particular game can easily find it rather than just like find it in the wild.
Yeah. And I think it's all part of a large ecosystem.
Sure.
You know, like I think that resellers serve a purpose. There are a lot of people who don't have local game stores nearby, anywhere nearby. They have to buy online. And it's like, I don't know if this is a good analogy, but when you think about predators in the wild, predators are very important. If we didn't have predators, then basically the insects would eat all the vegetation and they'd eventually die and we'd all die. Like, we have to have predators in the world. The world can't really function without predators. And I think, not necessarily
The
saying that
locust
we
way
are
is one way to
predators.
go. Here's the deal: is
That we're sharks.
we dig at the bottom of the box. We have been in the basements that are
Right.
stinky. We'll go.
We do
you know
the
what I mean?
work.
We'll do
Yeah,
the work
and we
to
do
find the good stuff.
Yeah, and we want to get paid for the work. But I still think that it's more general than, like, it's healthy for a collectible market to have people from all, angles. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's healthy to have resellers. It's healthy to have collectors. It's healthy to have players. It's healthy to have people who want to just trade in their games or sell them at a low price so that resellers can provide them online. Because if you have a small number of resellers online, then the online prices are going to be high. And so then the people who don't have local game shops, now they're paying a higher premium. So with the resellers in the equation, it helps the economy to balance out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps it makes it fair for everyone. And at the end of the day, if there wasn't the demand for that particular price point, like this game that's $100, that might make you mad, but there's a demand that pumped it up to $100. There are other games that resellers will sell at only $2 because there's just not the demand there for it. So, I mean, there's a lot of people in America. There's a lot of people in the world, and there are only so many games. And so the prices of the games don't go up because of the reseller. They go up because people want them.
Which
There's
is
demand.
It's just insane to me, like how I don't know. I think that the video game market is still undervalued compared to like cards and other things.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Either way.
But anyway, back to the story, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised in Arkansas, and in the South there are a lot of video game stores, a lot more than around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe now they've cut back, but
Well, there used to be a lot more. Game Force had 9 stores, and Buyback had 9 stores
true,
at one
yeah.
point.
And maybe they started to close down here first, and then other places. But yeah, I used to take trips all around where I lived, and just look for deals. Look for anything that was underpriced. So I could buy it and then sell it online. And eventually, I realized 2 things. First, man, if I had a store, I wouldn't have to drive around every single Saturday and Sunday, for hours away from home looking for games. I could just, have people come to me, bring games here, and then we would have, we wouldn't have to pay all the fees. I guess we have taxes and all that, and we have rent, but it just sounded like a better gig. But the second thing that I realized that was very important to me was I felt like I was ruining the local economy of these stores. And that's one thing that did bug me about, my habits, or like my business. Every time I would go to a store for the first time and I would, oh, wow, this store has amazing, inventory. I would find all the good deals, in the store. I'd buy all the Pokemon games, at $6, buy 3, get 1. Well, I'd come back a couple of months later and they'd still be wiped out.
Right.
I'd come back a couple months later, still be wiped out. Maybe I find another game here or there. And I mean, even a year later, these stores would, I could see the effect that I had on. I would go and spend thousands of dollars in these stores, And I would take the games out of that kind of local economy, and I would sell them online to other people who wanted them, yes. But I felt like it started to become unfair for, the people around that store. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, because it is tough because it's like as a store, there's this expectation that the Pokemon game on VGPC market price goes for $6. So I got to put it at $6 because if I put it at $15 after I put a new battery in it or whatever, and say it's going for that on Amazon, that doesn't work. And so it's interesting too because these stores, I feel like pricing in a video game store has changed a lot in the last couple years. Like the habits and like what the customer base has changed a lot, and like they kind of understand more. I feel like they're more educated than when it first started in 2009, 2010, when it really was kind of ramping that first time when nobody...
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely get less complaints about the prices of games. People are definitely more aware that, these are collectible.
Right.
Some of them could be considered antiques.
A lot of them, I mean...
Yeah. So it is what it is. And I think people have understood that now, that they're priced this way because otherwise we wouldn't be here. Otherwise we wouldn't have stores. And also, to me, like, I'm a collector too, and I want my stuff to be worth something. You know what I mean? Like, more than just sentimental value. Like, I'm sentimental about a lot of things from my childhood, but I don't collect them. I'm sentimental about some of these, rocks that I used to collect when I was a kid, but you don't see me looking for more rocks and collecting rocks.
Repolish it. Like, I had this granite that was like this big.
Yeah, rocks aren't worth anything. Well, I guess some rocks are, but
I did find a cool rock earlier today. That's still in my pocket.
Nice.
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
What can I say?
Rock.
Hanging out with the kid outside, and she was finding a bunch of cool rocks. I was like, I like that rock.
But yeah, I mean, we do care about our collectible items. You have a lot of collectibles here. I'm assuming you wouldn't have all of these collectibles if each one of them was worth a penny.
True.
It probably just wouldn't be that big of a deal to you. You'd have certain ones that are extremely special to you. But I think it adds a whole lot of value that they have monetary value and sentimental value. Like, it doesn't only have to have sentimental value. It can have other values, and the more values it has, the more it means to you. And so I think that's important. And so I don't think that it's fair to say all games should be cheap and affordable for all people, because that's your opinion, and everyone has different opinions.
Right. And I mean, that's the same exact argument that's like been present since the beginning of card games, right? Like, they're game pieces. They should be, it's like, sure, but I want, like, you know what I mean? If I'm going to spend $120 on a box, I want to know that I'm getting some amount of value out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be exactly what I spent on it because there's some gambling and I'm not dumb enough to not understand that. But at the same time, it's like, there should be some monetary value within this box.
Right.
Of collectible cards.
Yeah, card games, they are a little bit of a different story because they are made specifically with gambling in mind. I mean, I don't know if everyone thinks about that or knows that, but that's how they're made. They're made to be gotcha games.
They're good ones. I like them.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's a collectible. I mean, it started with sports cards, right? I don't know where it started necessarily, but
it was that and Magic. So it was like, Magic was like the first collectible card game, right? Like the first big one that
but
did the thing. But I mean, sports cards are still like kind of the. We talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago, where we're like, in what's the hierarchy of collecting collectibles? And it's like, maybe I think it's comics, I think it's sports cards, then comics, then probably CCGs, then video games. And as far as like, I think the big ones, as far as like
personally
values to, what's available.
the like, what's the most expensive comic? What is the most expensive?
Or like
comic?
trend-setting type of thing. I mean,
Action Comics #1.
is it?
And what's that gone for now?
Oh, I have no idea. It was a couple million last I saw.
Well, and see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I thought too. And when you compare that to TCG today,
Right.
you know,
Because, yeah, that
The
Action
one
Comics
ran-
#1 was like the beginning of superheroes. And it was the one with Superman smashing that car.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
Just-
it's got to be the most expensive comic.
So the most expensive baseball card
Hell yeah.
went for $12.6 million.
Oh wow,
It's our boy Mickey Mantle, too.
And then most expensive comic was $5.3 million. So sports cards.
Yeah, sports cards have been around for a long time.
But they're like the trend, you know, they've been around the longest,
Yeah.
right? Of like all of these type of collectible type of things.
Yeah.
So it's like it makes sense that they're going to be the main trendsetter. And so it's like it's interesting to watch like Magic follow in the footsteps with doing like serialized and textured and
yeah,
all this other stuff.
T-
where,
yeah, and I'm definitely in the camp that doesn't like all the different variations.
sure. Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I mean TCG. I was just telling somebody today that TCG's kind of revolutionized the collectible card world. You know, because like now you get to play with these cards that you're
Sure.
collecting,
Right.
and that's actually fun. That's cool. Like that's a whole
this-
different element.
This thing has utility?
Yeah.
What?
So collectible. I think trading card games still have a very bright future. I know that there are a lot going digital, but I think there's always going to be some startup or indie dev who wants to make a physical trading card game.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
you're
physical
amped on
trading card games
sorcery,
will ever
right?
go away.
You ready for
Yeah,
that beta
very amped
release?
on sorcery. Yeah,
Isn't that
beta.
coming up October?
So it got delayed to November 10th.
Oh, okay.
So November 10th, because there's a massive amount of demand for it
True.
on the distributor side.
That's got the Frank Frazetta art, right? It's that one?
No, Alpha had Frank Frazetta. Beta does not. But I will say that every single beta box of Sorcery will come with a Frank Frazetta promo card.
Okay.
So, but
Is it
that'll
the
be the
same
only
one?
Frazetta. That was not available in Alpha. This is unique to Beta. It's a promo card that you'll get just by purchasing a buy. It's a buy box promo.
Nice. Yeah, we definitely like gonna be getting some of it. I don't know how much, but you
Okay,
know,
cool.
We're gonna try it. This
It's
guy
fun.
is the one that told us to get into Magic.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which is hilarious 'cause it's
You're
like-
are you sure?
Yeah, he's like, dude, just have one case of Magic. What are you doing? He's like, why are you wasting this case? I had some case like just with some like Sega Genesis games. He's like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, pull this crap out of here.
And
Put
in
some.
Disc Genesis.
I mean, I don't know. He said like, look. Let's be honest. Of the cartridges, Genesis sells.
I know,
it's my
yeah,
personal
yeah.
favorite, but it sells the least.
It does.
So yeah, he's like, just get one case of Magic, and I was like, all right, you know, and that kind of simmered for like 2 or 3 years before we opened the Kipling store, and I was like, one case of Magic, and now it's like, I'm half Magic,
Yeah,
half
it's
Magic,
big.
half video games.
Well, it's also grown since then, quite a bit. The TCG world.
I got lucky for getting in at the right time.
Yeah,
for
he
sure.
did. I think that's important for our game stores in general too. Like if you want to open up a game store now,
Get lucky.
yeah, you have to get. And that's what I'm saying. Like I only have a game store because I was in the right place at the right time.
Same.
You know, so I would say that most store owners are like that. You can open a store today,
It would be crazy hard.
but yeah.
Just the capital to get started would be so much harder, especially if you're like in a competitive market. Like I've thought about this a lot because it's like, every time we open a new store, we're essentially just starting from the ground up. So it's like we know what to evaluate now, which is interesting. And it's like it would be so crazy to try to do that with no inventory, staff, support, like, you know what I mean? Like just from the beginning again.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No, it's a whole lot of work. A lot of work and a lot of obstacles and disappointments but also, rewarding moments.
Yeah.
And I really personally I miss the amount of time that I used to work behind the front desk, the front counter. I enjoyed talking to the customers
Sure.
quite a bit and handling transactions one-on-one. That was a big thing. Sometimes I still get to do that, but most of the time I don't get to do that anymore with 3 stores. I think
You've
you
just
spend-
become dispatch at some point.
Don't you spend a lot more time in your stores behind the counter, or am I?
I
Maybe not behind
so,
the counter.
I'm attempting to become a little more hands off. I'm trying to
I
be a
was gonna
little
say,
more hands
You
off.
drive so far to get to your
It's-
stuff.
I mean, I love it there, right? So it's like I always describe it as it's like it's the clubhouse, right?
Oh, the new
It's-
fancy store, yeah. Too.
Yeah.
Like I bet, yeah, it's like a hangout. Like
I got the coffee. I'm just like
yeah, you probably have a bed somewhere.
a couple. No, I'm just kidding. This is where the magic happens. This is where the dark magic happens.
It's in the cage. The Nicolas Cage.
The Nicolas Cage. Did you see the Nicolas Cage?
I didn't.
Dude, so I built this big grid wall cage, and then I like printed these banners of like Nicolas Cage's face blown up like this big.
Okay.
And I just made this like streaming cage for the
Okay.
TCG stuff, and I called it the Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I'm gonna have to stop by and check that out.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Unfortunately, not tonight, but
Yeah.
another day.
But yeah, I mean, dang it.
Oh, we almost made it without cursing at all.
Almost. I was this close.
Thanks for watching the Level 7 broadcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to get more videos just like this. And be sure to visit us at any Level 7 Games location to find all of your gamer needs, from video games and trading cards to even manga and tasty as hell coffee. For all of those and more, I'll see you there.